Alrighty then. Ah, yes. The official theme song of the ACC. Ain't that right? Can we get a time lapse of how the ACC has gone this year? Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Oh my goodness.
Talking about the same things.
Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Well, there we go. No reason to hold off anymore. Good day, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Salutations. It's that time. It's that time everybody's been waiting for. The Selection Sunday is here, and shortly down the line, we are going to find out who our 12 playoff teams are. We are going to find out which 12 teams are going to the big dance. And no matter what happens, we already know this to be the case. Somebody is going to be mad. This is a certain factor in the playoffs, is that somebody is going to get left out. Somebody is going to get mad. Somebody's going to cry. Hell, the crying's already started. I've heard that Notre Dame should be in. Notre Dame should be out. Vandy should be in. Vandy should be out. Texas should be in. Daggum Texas. Heard that about Utah. Heard about Bama. Heard about everybody. I've heard about Oklahoma. I've heard Oklahoma should be out because they just look terrible. Even though they won 10 games. They should be out too. I've heard everything and more. So I guarantee you that no matter what happens, somebody is going to be mad. Let that be known. First off, I want to give a special shout out to Tyler Heller with the $5 and $2 super chats respectively. He says, Mellows and good morning, buddy. How are you this morning and everything else going? Also, let's see how the CFB committee be special or not. Well, I'll tell you firstly, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Because I don't have to worry. We're not involved in this. Now, I do have a little bit of worry, I will say, because I told you guys this plenty of times before, and this is the last time I'll say it. Whatever happens after this point, that's just the way it is. But I'll stick to my word. Because Tennessee's bowl game is going to get announced today, we already know Illinois is having to go to the wretched hell zone that is the Music City Bowl. I feel bad for the Illini fans. I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for Burt Bielema that you have to be dragged into that shithole of a bowl game. My guess is it's going to be LSU that's going to have to play y'all. But if it is us, if Tennessee has to go to that wretched shithole bowl game that is the Music City Bowl today, if they announce it, I can assure you that I will be planning a public protest somewhere in downtown Knoxville or on campus of the University of Tennessee. There will be a public protest, and I'll make sure to let everybody know about it. I'll go to the message boards. We will make it happen. Even if it is just me in the mustard costume standing there with a sign, I will go. I will go down there and I will protest that sometime before the game happens. So I just want to let that be known. But anyway, thank you, Tyler, for the super chats. He also posted through a $2 super chat the Squidtard store. If you guys want to go check out some of that merch, it is there right there on the screen there. If you guys want to go check that out, great stuff on there. Obviously I'm planning on adding more in the future, and I'll let you guys know if I do. But yeah, there you go. Yeah. Heard somebody say the Liberty Bowl is worse, and that's not true. The location around it overall may be worse than Nashville, which is probably true. You're probably right about that. But the bowl game as it stands, the bowl game itself is fine. FanDuel just leaked the CFP rankings. Well, don't tell me, because I don't. First of all, I don't believe you. Secondly, if you do, if that is true, then don't tell me, because I don't want to know. From what I heard, we were projected to go to the Gator Bowl. That's what I heard. We were projected to play in the Gator Bowl against either USC or Washington. Because ReliaQuest, I think Michigan is heading to the ReliaQuest or the Citrus Bowl, and then Iowa is to the ReliaQuest. I think that's how that's working. See, the thing about the Liberty Bowl though is that the Liberty Bowl is like the overall bowl game experience is way better. It's way better kept. The stadium's better. The environment around it may not be as good as Nashville, but everything else revolving around the game is better. The experience, the stadium, the painted end zones are actually painted. They're not over the dadgum Titans end zones, and you can still see the Tennessee Titans logo. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. The reason I started so late is because all we were going to ever do was just debate this until we were blue in the face. So it was just best to get this over with, bite the bullet early, and then from there we'll find out all the other bowl games. But yeah, Miami versus Tennessee in the Gator Bowl as the projection. Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing the Canes. We'll see how it goes. Hope Duke and Bama get scrubbed. Well, Duke's not in it. Duke wasn't making it no matter what happens. The only chance the ACC has, though, is Miami in an at-large bid. First off, I said it in my short yesterday, and I'll say it here. Yeah, congratulations to Duke, though, for winning the ACC for the first time since the 80s. And congratulations to Indiana. We're living in a college football world where Indiana is the #1 team and the favorite for winning the national championship. That is actual insanity. What a time we live in, huh? What a time to be alive. Welcome to the current year. So I'll tell you what. I laid out what I think's going to wound up being the playoffs, and the 4 byes I think are going to be in no particular order: Indiana, Georgia, Ohio State, and Texas Tech. They can all agree on that. Those 4 teams right there, they're probably your 4 first-round bye teams. After that, you got Oregon, who I think is going to be 5. Ole Miss going to be 6. Texas A&M 7. Oklahoma 8. I think Bama's going to be 9. But even if they aren't, they're going to be 10. And 9 will be Miami. I think Miami, they're going to get the jump over Notre Dame because BYU losing was the worst thing that could have happened to them. Because now there's inseparable facts right there. Miami has the head-to-head win over Notre Dame. It's pretty hard to not distinguish that when they're right next to each other. Because that's the thing. BYU split those 2 teams. Now BYU's out of the equation. It's just them. They can't ignore that. Or at least I don't think they could. Anyway, the last 2 teams are going to be Tulane and James Madison. Courtesy of the ACC being so absolutely dog shit that not even the ACC champion can get in. Absolute poverty. But if Notre Dame does get in and the ACC gets left out, it'll be just as funny to me. Yeah, and that's another thing. I just want to let everybody know Manny Diaz gets fired by Miami a couple of years ago. He currently has more ACC championships than the entirety of Miami's football program. It gets funnier every time I say it. Ironically, though, Miami is the best shot they have of actually winning a playoff game. If Miami winds up being 9th, like I think they are, and jumps Bama, they're going to go to Norman to play Oklahoma. Because to me, Oklahoma, that's a game that Miami could absolutely win. I don't know. Tennessee could be 0-12 right now. Miami still hasn't won the ACC in the history of ever. That you can't ignore those facts. I'm sorry to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. If you're having to pivot to Tennessee to cope in any single way, then you're doing it wrong. Anyway, though, I will say I do think the Canes have a really good shot if they play Oklahoma in Norman. But if you're 10, I think your odds go down quite a bit. Because then you got to go to Texas A&M in College Station. That's not going to be good. Auburn's going to go to the football game. Auburn's going to sit on the couch to watch the football game. What's good, Randy? Don't talk shit about my conference. Or what? What y'all gonna do? Do something special? What y'all gonna do? Win a playoff game? Woo! Has an outdated conference system? No, they don't. What are you talking about? The ACC is the same system that the SEC has in the Big Ten now. All the power conferences fall under the same system. The teams with the top 2 records get in. And if they don't get in past, and if they have the same record, then it comes down to common opponents. That's what Duke had. Virginia only had 1 ACC loss. They were in regardless. Duke got in because of common opponents. It's still so daggum funny that all of that happened. I don't care what Herb Street says. Reveal the damn rankings. You know they've got to talk a little while before they actually drop the playoff rankings. Come on, you know that's the case. Illinois versus LSU. Do we have official? Well, don't tell me if there's official confirmation on that. I'd rather find out on my own. Also, another thing is, this is breaking news actually. Kansas State's joined in the realm of eliminating themselves from bowl eligibility, because guess who wound up just eliminating themselves too? And this is ironic because both teams played each other at the start of the year in Ireland. Iowa State. Iowa State has just announced that they are going to decline their bowl invitation, which means that they have dadgum eliminated themselves from bowl eligibility. So, I guess, get out, play the elimination. Goodbye, Iowa State. Gotta make sure to put that one in the chaos. Ball Dragger, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Thank you. He says, if Duke could win the ACC and Indiana could beat Ohio State, does this mean there's a chance my UTEP Miners win even 3 games next year? Anything's possible, man. Literally anything is possible. Minnesota could go better than 7-5 with PJ Fleck. Miami could win the ACC. UTEP could win 4 games. You really never know. Crazy stuff has happened. Yeah, to me, after Iowa State basically just eliminated themselves from bowl eligibility, if I'm TCU and North Carolina right now, because those 2 teams play each other in Ireland to start the next season, I'm shitting in my boots. Now, if I'm a North Carolina fan, I'm doing that anyway, because look at the trajectory of your team overall with Jordan Hudson's wife leading the charge. You're already cooked from the start. Can't say the same, though, for TCU, but the way this has gone, both of their seasons have gone, and now that Iowa State's lost Matt Campbell and lost a bunch of their recruits and their players along with it, it ain't looking good. It ain't looking good for them. It's a bad situation. Wild Dog, appreciate the 5, says, I'm newer to college football. Why do teams drop out of their bowl games? Well, I guess I was thinking about that for a second because that is two different things. There's players, individual players that opt out of bowl games, and a lot of that is due to draft stock. They don't want to tank their draft stock by getting injured, or they're just lazy and want to quit. So that would be individual players. But for programs doing it, each of them have their own individual reasons. But the main one is the fact that the main one is that when they lose their coach, and especially some of their players, they just don't want to bother with it. They just don't want to bother with it. And usually when a team opts out of a bowl game before anything actually happens, it's a telltale sign that something is getting ready to happen. And since Matt Campbell's already gone, what that probably means is that there are a bunch of players within that roster that are getting ready to either hit the portal or basically hit the portal or graduate, basically. And they've already declared they don't want to play in the bowl game. And so there's just no reason. Well, they figured there was no reason to play it. But there's always a reason to play it. Hell, one thing I'll give Florida State credit for is that their entire team, back in 23 when they got snubbed in the playoffs, their entire team, dadgum, went ahead and quit. They left. They transferred. They graduated. They declared. So basically, when they were matched up against Georgia, by that point, there was only walk-ons and whatever else. Yes, the entire team got obliterated and wiped off the face of the earth. But what did happen though, was that they were there. And it did give it gave like the newer up and rising players, the ones that stayed, it gave them a final hurrah. And it also gave the the players like the recruits that were coming in, the brand new freshmen that didn't get any playing time, it gave them a little bit of time in a football game. And I think that counts more than anything. Because that's the best thing about these bowl games is that you get to see at least a taste of what the future is going to be like. So there's always a reason to play it. I'll never understand why a team in total opts out of a bowl game unless if you literally just get marshaled. But Iowa State did not get marshaled. They're not a G5 program. That's very, very hard for to happen at Iowa State, but who knows? I'll buy someone Broadway tickets if Vandy gets in. Well, Vandy's not getting in, unfortunately. They're not. That's just the reality of the situation. Vandy is just not getting in. Even if the best case scenario happened to them and they managed to get into that top 12, they weren't even going to get there because Texas was there. Texas was there. Somebody mentioned to me, well, what about the AP poll? Look at where they've got Vandy. And okay, they're 13th. What do you mean where the AP poll got Vandy ranked? They've got them ranked 13th. They weren't getting in. Will Dick University make it in? No, but I heard Cock University's got a pretty good shot. See, I can respect the game even if they get their asses kicked. Just play and also take the money perks. That's also true. Get a lump sum of cash for doing it as well. Thoughts of Missouri State and Delaware both getting to bowl games in their first year in the FBS. Great stuff. Great stuff. We've seen this with a lot of FCS teams, though. James Madison was the same way. As soon as they made their transition from the FCS to the FBS, they won a bunch of games, and then all the chaos happened around them, and they were able to make a bowl in their first year of the FBS. So it's good stuff. And hell, we're seeing it with Kennesaw State too. They didn't make it in their first year, but in their second year of being in the FBS, they went ahead and won 10 games, and they won the Conference USA. Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. It's a shame they're not going to get a shot at the playoffs, and they're probably not going to get respected in the bowl game either. So, I don't know where they're going to go. If it were up to me, I'd have them play somebody like Boise State. You might as well have them play another conference champion. Like Boise State. Or, who else am I thinking of? Western Michigan? Maybe, potentially Western Michigan. But Western Michigan was like... The MAC was like the ACC of the group of five. Literally, that's what that was, because it was just a complete shit fest, and a 5-loss team wound up winning the whole daggum thing. I'll be forever thankful for Jake Retzlaff for having premarital sex. Yeah, I said at the start of the year, this might be a gift in disguise for Tulane, picking up Jake Retzlaff from the portal, and look at where it panned out for him. They got a gift. Imagine how pissed BYU's got to be right now. 11-1, just short of the playoffs, and now Jake Retzloff is going to get in with Tulane. I'd be pissed. The Squidtard Bowl, the prize, a big orange guy trophy, and lots of merch along the. Yes, make the Squidtard Bowl happen. I'm telling you, we need to make it happen. It needs to be the case. We need the Squidtard Bowl. They're just trying to keep the time along because they've got to leave room for commercials and whatever else. So now they're just saying whatever goofy ass shit they possibly can, like Duke's got a shot. Squid, it would be funny if you made a game of the century on number 1 Ohio State and number 2 Indiana. Yeah, big announcement, by the way. Thank you for letting me know. There will be, yes. I am splitting that game. Big Ten Championship will not be featured in this week's Chaos. Rather, it's going to be featured in its own separate video titled Game of the Century. Yes, I will be making a separate video for that one. And not only that, but it will be coming out before this week's edition of Chaos. First time I've done that, but that is what's going to happen. So Chaos will still be coming out at its selective time frame. However, Game of the Century will be coming out before then. Squidtard Bowl presented by Chick-fil-A milkshakes. Yes! Yes! Dude, I wasn't even able to get my milkshake today. And I can't get it all day today. Dadgummit. Got money on Notre Dame not getting in. Well, you got to hope the playoff committee considers head-to-head competition. Here are the principles: strength of schedule, head-to-head competition, comparative outcomes of common opponents, which Miami also leads in, by the way, an unavailability of key players and coaches that may have affected past performance or likely will affect postseason performance. See, I've heard this regurgitated narrative. First off, shout out to Troy Yazek, I think that's your name. Thank you for the $10 super chat, buddy. Greatly appreciate it. It says, my prediction on the final CFP bracket: number 1, Indiana; 2, Georgia; 3, Ohio State; 4, Texas Tech; 5, Oregon; 6, Ole Miss; 7, A&M; 8, Oklahoma; 5, Miami; 10, Notre Dame; 11, Texas Tech; and 12, James Madison. Bama is out. That's not going to happen. They're not going to kick Bama out for losing in their conference championship. If they do that, they're setting a really bad precedent about conference championship games, and you're basically just going to ask people to start eliminating them entirely. You're basically just going to ask the conferences to eliminate conference championships entirely, and that's going to set a really bad precedent for the future. So while I don't think that's going to be right, I do appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Now, I did hear this regurgitated narrative about Ole Miss specifically. Somebody mentioned this to me yesterday that Ole Miss is going to get left out entirely from the playoffs for losing Lane Kiffin. As stupid as that would be, which that would be incredibly stupid to punish the entirety of the player base just because one coach wound up leaving. But as stupid as that is, you got to consider that. It's not impossible. It's very unlikely, but it's not impossible. Should Notre Dame join the ACC since they play 6 ACC teams a year? Yes, I think they should. But they're not going to because they're scared of a conference. And they benefited really, really well from last year's playoffs because of how much money they themselves got from winning all those games. But they're going to find out what I guess is that they're going to find out real quick the problem in not joining a conference because Miami is going to get in over them. Florida State got punished for their QB getting injured. Yep, 14 playoff though. Complete different rule book when the 12-team playoff is considered. Because people mentioned to me that, Florida State got kicked out because they didn't have a quarterback. Well, that was a 14 playoff. This is a 12-team playoff. Everything's different. All right. Josef Stalin with the 2. Thank you, good sir. Says, there is precedent. Look at Jordan Travis and FSU. Yes, like I said, though, that is a 4-team playoff. Complete different rule book than what we're looking at right here with the 12-team playoff. If Ole Miss were 10-2 and they were a bubble team, that I think would be, I think the discussion would be a whole lot bigger than what it is. But they're 11-1. have several marquee wins under their belt. They're projected 6th. Yeah, I think they're in no matter what. They could move down, sure, but they're not going to. I very highly doubt they're going to kick them out. They're going to use Bama as a barrier between Notre Dame and Miami to keep the Canes out anyways. So you're saying Notre Dame is going to move up to 9. Because that's the thing. That's the thing. That was what separated Miami and Notre Dame before, was a barrier, and that barrier was BYU. But if BYU is no longer there, now they're literally right next to each other. It's pretty dadgum hard to separate that, or at least that's what I would think. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. Not a clue, man. Not a clue. We got 300 dadgum people in here right now. I didn't even realize how many people we have in our live chat. This is crazy. Thank you guys so much for being in here. Greatly appreciate it. You all are phenomenal people. I love this fan base. Best fan base here on YouTube. The Squidtard Tartarian fan base. Y'all are wonderful. And yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like if you haven't already. For every like that we receive, it greatly benefits this channel, so it's greatly appreciated. Thank you all for all the support you've given to this channel. Ohio can keep seething from last night. Yeah, Ohio State, I don't get it, man. Ohio State fans, especially in my Discord, were acting like this was the end of the world. That, like, this was the end of everything. The season's over. Fire Ryan Day. Yeah. Get rid of Brian Hart. Get rid of Brian Hartline already. Everything. Brother, you're getting a bye no matter what. So what if you didn't win the Big Ten? Now it's worth mentioning that Ohio State has yet to have won the Big Ten since 2019. Ouch. You can't claim the Big Ten as your conference when you haven't won it since 2019. But hell, you're the defending national champions. You're going to get a first-round bye in the playoffs still. I don't see why it's the biggest deal, honestly. Your stream is my way to find out in real time who gets in, and as I don't think I have any way to watch the show from Europe. All right, well, I hope I'm glad to have helped you out with that. That's crazy. That's crazy that they're not broadcasting ESPN somewhere in Europe. Squidtard's Texas A&M deserve a spot? Absolutely. They're 11-1. They're gonna get in. Texas A&M is one team that's like a surefire. Like, they're in, and they're probably getting a home spot. Most assuredly, I'd imagine. But yeah, the difference there was Ohio State somehow blowing the game, missing a 27-yard field goal. I sat there and I was like, did they get Max Gilbert all of a sudden? That's absolutely crazy. I made the comparison to Noah Ruggles, but that's far, far worse than Noah Ruggles. That's a 27-yarder chip shot field goal, and that's absolutely insane that they whiffed on that. Southern 19, appreciate the $5 super chat. Thank you, good sir. Thank you. You're a real one. Thank you very much. Chad, is Mendoza a Heisman lock? Yes, I believe he is. Had they blown the Big Ten championship last night, it would probably have been Diego Pavia. That's the thing. Right now, it's a race between Mendoza and Pavia. But I think Mendoza is extremely far ahead regardless. Wild Dog 333, appreciate becoming a member of Tard Area. Welcome. If you guys aren't a channel member already, I would highly recommend doing so. I'm planning on posting like weekly rants. This week, people have told me that I need to make a 30-minute rant on Tim Banks, and I'm going to make it happen. So sometime this week, I'm going to do that for the channel members. And additionally, of course, we're going to plan on doing members-only streams. But anyway, it's time. This is it, guys. Here we go. College football playoff rankings are being revealed in real time. And as you would have guessed, number 1 has just been revealed. The Indiana Hoosiers are your number 1 team. Number 1 in the playoff rankings is Indiana. What a timeline we're living in, huh? What an insane timeline we are living in. The Indiana Hoosiers, your number one team. And probably your favorite to win the national championship based on how they've looked. Number two, I'm guessing is going to be Georgia. But it could be Ohio State. Wow. Okay. Well, there we go. There, I just said it. Number two is Ohio State. They did not punish them that hard for losing the Big Ten championship. I thought they'd be 4. All right. Number two is the Buckeyes of Ohio State. That means they put a lot of favoritism in the Buckeyes for their for just coming up short in the Big Ten championship, and it just showed the 27-yarder missed field goal. Okay, well that's important for matchups. That's important. A lot of people thought Georgia was going to be 2. Boy, man, yeah, that's crazy. If this were last year, though, Ohio State would have got the best we could have gotten is 5. That's absolutely crazy. But I'm guessing the other two, it could be flip-flopped, but I'm guessing it's going to be Georgia and then it's going to be Texas Tech. Yeah, there we go. Number 3 is the Dogs of Georgia. So that is important, Ohio State being 2 and Georgia 3, because it means now that whoever they face off from the first round is going to be different. We thought it was going to be who's projected to face number 2? Is it like 10 versus 7? I think. I'm pretty sure it is. It's 10. It's 10 versus 7. Is I think how that works. So 7. It'll probably wind up being Texas A&M then. Texas A&M. If they win that first game, they'll be playing Ohio State. Crazy. And then I'm guessing the number 4 team is going to be, Texas Tech. The Red Raiders of Texas Tech, number 4, and they'll get the last bye. So there's your byes. Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, and Texas Tech. First off, shout out to Joey McGuire. I said over this offseason, based on how much money and how much energy, how much everything they spent on this roster, if Joey McGuire doesn't at least win 9 games with it, I think he should be fired. And, he went above and beyond. 112, including winning the entire conference, so and getting a first-round bye in the playoffs. Of course, the job's not done yet. We're going to find out potentially a team that they're going to be facing as 5's about to be revealed. And I'm guessing it's going to be the Ducks. I'm guessing it's going to be Oregon. We're gonna find out the teams are gonna have home games. Number 5, it is the Ducks of Oregon. So Oregon gets that 5 seed there. No surprise. We all knew Oregon was gonna get the 5. Now, that'd be a hell of a game if those two wound up playing. Oregon in that secondary against the Texas Tech defense. If we're already getting point spreads on that, I guarantee you Texas Tech's probably going to be favored. That defense is monstrous. I don't know what Dante Moore's going to do against that. That is if he wins the first game. Anyway, 6, probably, it could be Ole Miss. We're going to find out if they're going to punish him for Lane. Let's see. We're going to find out if they're going to punish him. Number 6. Number 6 is Ole Miss. So they did not get punished for Lane Kiffin leaving. They remain where they always have. Boy, Florida State fans are just all the more heated after that one. But it was expected. Lane Kiffin may be gone, but all the other coaches that aren't Lane Kiffin are sticking around. I think they'll be just fine where they are. But they're in danger of facing off against Georgia in a rematch. So good luck with that if you win your first game. Number 7 then is probably going to be the Aggies of A&M. And number 7 is Texas A&M. There you go. Aggies in College Station. So it means that if A&M wins their first game, whoever it winds up being, means they're going to have to face Ohio State in the second round. And that's going to be a game. That being said, though, if Marcel Reed looked that bad against the Texas defense, what do you think Ohio State's going to do? Sonny Styles, oh my goodness, he might have 12 interceptions in that game. Caden Curry is going to eviscerate Marcel Reed in that game. And then here's your final home team with the number 8 spot, Oklahoma. There you go, the Sooners getting the number 8 seed. They're going to have the final home field advantage, which means somebody's heading to Norman. And Oklahoma needed that, I think. Oklahoma really needed that. They have a really good defense. No denying that. They have one of the best defenses in the playoffs for sure. But it is going to be a brutal stretch. I'll tell you what. John Mateer is going to have to play. He's going to have to learn to play a whole lot better if he's going to want to have a shot in that one. All right, well, here we go. The final 3 teams are going to be revealed very shortly. If I had to guess, Alabama's going to be 9. But some of you guys said that Notre Dame or Miami might jump Alabama. And if Notre Dame winds up being number 9, then that means Miami's out. But here we go. This is the question that everybody's been asking, because we know. Here we go. Here's number 9. Alabama. Crimson Tide is in at number 9. They're going to be playing against Oklahoma on the road in Norman. So there's your first playoff game. Alabama heading into Oklahoma to play off against the Sooners in a rematch. Oklahoma went into Tuscaloosa and knocked off Bama. They're going to get a second shot. This time they get to travel on the road to do it. That's going to be a game right there. That home field advantage, I think, is really going to help. That's really going to help Oklahoma in that one. Because after losing to Georgia, we could see a completely different Alabama team going into that game. But so now it's come down to the big question, the 10 seed. It's going to be either Notre Dame or Miami. And if I thought it was going to be Miami. I think it should be. You set a bad precedent overall if you put in Notre Dame over Miami, because then how much does head-to-head really matter? That's what it's come down to. Some people are saying Alabama should be out completely. You can't punish a team for losing in the SEC championship, man. You just can't. I mean, you can to some degree, and they did. But not really all that much. Anyway, here we go. Number 10 is Miami. They did it. They moved them up. And that was the smart move. That was the smart move. Number 10 is Miami, and Notre Dame is out. Wow. Wow. Well, there you go. They actually did it. Could not ignore the head-to-head. That means Miami is going to College Station to face off against Texas A&M. That's going to be a game right there. Carson Beck heading up against that A&M defense. Going to be a brawl, I'll tell you what. And there, we figured out who your crybaby is going to be of the year. Last year it was Alabama fans crying their hardest. This time it's going to be Notre Dame. That's what needed to happen, though. I just don't understand why it took him so long. That's what I want to know. Is why did it take him so long to go through with it? Oh yeah, Carson Beck's definitely throwing some interceptions. That's been known. I think A&M's gonna win that game, but that does sound like a lot of Carson Beck interceptions to me. Well, this sucks if you're Tulane. This really sucks if you're Tulane, because guess what? You thought the first match against Oxford, against Ole Miss and Oxford was bad. Guess what? You got to do it again. Whee! It's not confirmed yet, but they're getting ready to reveal it. But yeah, it is confirmed. Miami is in over Notre Dame. That's crazy. That is crazy. But it needed to happen. They literally have the head-to-head win over Notre Dame. Even if it's all the way back in week 1, you can't deny that. So it needed to happen, in my opinion. But yeah, the Canes heading to Kyle Field. And there you have it. Now it's revealed. Number 11 is Tulane. Green Wave heading right back to Oxford. Last time they went down there earlier in the year, Ole Miss stomped a mud hole in them. They know what they're getting into now. That's the thing. I think this game will be a little bit closer than last time. Not because of Kiffin or anything related to that, but because Ole Miss is going to... Tulane is going to be going in there with a chip on their shoulder. We know that for a fact. They got blown out in Oxford this year, and now they get a rematch in Oxford again. That's going to be... I don't think it's going to be necessarily a game, but I think they're going to put up a hell of a fight. A way better fight than what they did last. And there's your final playoff team. James Madison. The Dukes of James Madison are your final seed. And they're going to be heading to Autzen to play off against Oregon. Congratulations to James Madison, man. What a year they've had. They may be a sacrificial lamb to the Ducks, but a hell of a sacrificial lamb, I'll tell you what. What a year for James Madison. But there you go. There's your playoffs, you guys. And yeah, the first team out is Notre Dame. And then the second team out is BYU. This is what happens when you don't join a conference. This is exactly what happens. But there you go. The bracket's set, everybody. We've got our teams. Now we just got to know the times. But mostly everything's set. Everything is a go. So here's what we're looking at. Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, and Texas Tech, they're all getting byes. And then your playoff games, your first round playoff games. Oregon versus James Madison. Ole Miss Tulane rematch. Texas A&M and in Miami. And then Oklahoma and Alabama in a rematch in Oklahoma. Got some good games coming up, guys. Got some good games coming up. I'll tell you what. Well. And no Vandy. And no Vandy. Best season in program history. Can't even make it to the big dance. SMH shaking my head. At least you beat Tennessee, though. And no Texas either. Yeah, that's also true. And that's, again, they did it right. They did it how they should. They considered head-to-head. They put all the right teams in there. That's how it should be. They did it right. I don't get all the people crying about Alabama. They had to make up for what happened last year. I mean, they weren't in it they weren't in it last year. People are saying, "Oh, yep, the playoff committee's got Bama bias." That's exactly why they didn't put them in last year. What are y'all doing? I'm sorry. Somebody was going to get left out. I don't know what to tell you. There's 12 teams. Somebody's going to get screwed. Somebody is going to be left out. Somebody's going to get to the crying. But that's just the way it is. That's the way it's always been. And yeah, to nobody's surprise, I'm hearing them already complain about the group of 5 being in. Lot of people are mad about the group of 5 teams being in. But we knew that before going into this, and everybody was fine with it before. Everybody was fine with it before the season started. But this was known. This was known. A lot of this stuff was known going into this year, going into this playoff. One thing is, though, this was, if there was ever going to be a year for 16-team playoffs, this would have been it. There were a lot of good teams this year, a lot of really, really good teams. Notre Dame, if Notre Dame was 10-2 in any other given year, they're in. If Vandy was 10-2 in any other given year, they're in. If Texas had the record that they had, and beat A&M to end out the year, in any other year, they're probably in. That's just the reality of the situation. However, just so happened this year, there were a lot of really, really good, really, really, really good teams with really good records. And the ACC. The ACC collapsing paved the way for another group of 5 team to get in. Reality of the situation. And even if Virginia had won last night, Notre Dame's still not getting in, BYU's still not getting in, Vandy's not, Texas isn't. None of those teams are getting in. None of that was ever going to change. Hate it for the teams that got left out. Didn't even have a chance, but that's just the way it goes. Here's what you got to know, okay? If you're a team that got left out, next time, be better. Get good. Don't know what to tell you. Literally, that's all I can tell you. Get good. Notre Dame, don't lose to your only 2 quality opponents on your schedule. BYU, don't get blown out by Texas Tech 2 times in the same season. Vandy, don't lose to a terrible Texas team next time. Who else got left out and is going to complain and cry about being left out? Texas, don't lose to a 4-win Billy Napier Florida team. Maybe then you won't be sitting in this spot. Who else? There's so many other teams that are going to cry and going to complain and going to boo-hoo-hoo all the way to Duke. Don't lose 5 games if you want to be in the playoffs for winning the ACC. Don't lose 5 games in the regular season next time. Literally, we can keep going. We can keep going. Literally, we can just continue. You want to keep going? You want to keep naming off all the other teams? Yeah, Utah. How about Utah? Hey, Utes, don't lose 2 regular season games next time. Especially with the schedule that you had. Don't know what to tell you. The Vols should have been better. You're saying that as if You're saying that as if I was thinking Tennessee was going to be in, brother. They weren't even ranked. What kind of coping mechanism is that? Yeah, we may not be in the playoffs because we suck, but at least Tennessee sucks too. What's that? What are you doing? Come on. Oh my goodness, yeah. You know, it's UCLA robbed. You know, it's sad. If that would be funny to mention. If they could allow coaches to come in during the playoffs and coach for them during these playoff games, then that means we would have Billy Napier in the 12-team playoff. Sunbelt Billy makes the playoffs before Florida. You've given me an idea. Oh, I've got some rage bait I got right now. Oh my goodness. I just tweeted out Sunbelt Billy made the playoffs before Florida. Oh, that's going to be some generational rage bait right there. Well, now we get to wait around all day for the bowl games to be announced. Whoop-de-friggin' do. We get to wait around until probably 9 o'clock tonight to see all the bowl games that are going to get revealed, and we won't know until later down the line. Usually, back when the 14 playoff was a thing, they'd reveal the other New Year's Six bowls right after the playoff selections, but there is no New Year's Six bowls, so we just got to wait around all day for them to announce the rest of the bowl games. All right. First off, Dumb Gamers, appreciate the $5 super chat. Says Notre Dame might have to join a conference. That's been known. Now they've got no choice. They're going to cry about it, but that's the case. That's the case. Maybe they should join a conference and not pick and choose the worst teams from every single conference to play every year. Jaxo, appreciate the $2 super chat. Says play the clown music for the ACC since it's funny. You know what? Yeah, all right. Your wish is my command. Let's get a moment of silence for the rest of the ACC. Oh shit, I'm supposed to be silent, my bad. Okay. There's your 30-second moment of silence. Ah. Yep, and here we go. It's begun, guys. The Irish fans are not happy at all. Wah, wah, wah. Well, I guess that whole Miami versus Tennessee prediction in the Gator Bowl kind of fell apart, didn't it? I'm in an argument on Twitter and a Notre Dame fan is claiming SEC bias. Yes. Yes, guys. I don't know if you realized, but Miami is actually an SEC team. Yeah. You just didn't know it. You just didn't know it all this time.
You might as well be in different leagues, not conferences, different leagues.
What do you think about Oklahoma making it? Not surprised. They were projected to make it long before now. A couple of good wins under their belt. And they had the Alabama win that propelled them further. Alabama was never going to make it ahead of Oklahoma because of that head-to-head win that they had. They were just never going to make it ahead of like the 11-win teams like Oklahoma or like Ole Miss, Oregon, A&M. It was always going to come down to them or Miami for that for the last home game. Yeah, James Madison too. James Madison and Tulane. Yeah, Tulane used to be in the SEC, so yeah, SEC bias. SEC bias. Of course. Of course. It was Alabama. People are crying about Alabama being in. Crazy. Almost like you don't get punished for playing in your conference championship game. Yeah, people are mad because Alabama got blown out in their conference championship game. The retort I have to that is how many total conference championship wins does Notre Dame have? Checkmate. Chicago got robbed. So did Sewanee, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Bama also beat Georgia in Athens. Sounds like they considered that to me. That single win alone is better than any win Notre Dame has gotten. And they should know. They beat him last year. By the way, the game times are announced. Here we go. So, for those of you wondering the game times, here they are. So, the first playoff game is going to be Alabama versus Oklahoma, December 19th, Friday, December 19th, 8 a.m., 8 a.m., 8 p.m., might as well be 8 a.m., but it's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, December 19th, Oklahoma versus Alabama. So that's our first playoff game. I'll probably be live for that. And then December 20th, Texas A&M versus Miami. That one is at noon in College Station. Tulane versus Ole Miss, 3:30 in Oxford. James Madison versus Oregon. That one in Eugene at 7:30 Eastern. All on December 20th, that Saturday. Reese, I was looking at that. You butthole. Okay, and then the second round. The second round. Ohio State should be used to this position. They're playing on New Year's Eve. Late at night on New Year's Eve. Their game might be over at the strike of midnight. So they'll be playing the winner of Texas A&M versus Miami. And then the following day on New Year's Day, at noon, winner of Oregon, James Madison, so probably Oregon versus Texas Tech. At 4 Eastern, at 4 o'clock Eastern, Alabama versus Oklahoma, winner of that plays Indiana. And then at 8, late at night, January 1st, New Year's Day, winner of Ole Miss Tulane, so probably Ole Miss, plays Georgia. That's going to be some good games right there. And the best part is I don't have to worry about my shit ass team playing in it. Here's the thing though, I hope Alabama shows up or Miami, because I don't think Tulane and James Madison are going to be in competition for very long. Maybe they are. Maybe they make it a close game. But if it turns into a bunch of blowouts, we're gonna hear it again, everybody. BYU would have played better. Notre Dame would have played better than this. Vandy would have played better. Texas would have played better. You didn't play better when you lost to a 4-win Florida. Maybe you should have played better against them if you wanted to be in. We need to tone it down. It's too early for this. Too early for the heat to come out. I need to save it for the FBS report. We will be live tomorrow, by the way. Don't miss it. FBS report. Gonna be tomorrow. We're gonna talk about the playoff rankings. We're gonna touch on all of it. And I'm sure Red's got some thoughts about Ohio State blowing it. And Voss is thrilled. Good for him. Is it time for a 16-team playoff? This was the time for it. But that's past now. We should just leave it 12, because if we keep extending the playoffs, what we're doing is we're gonna keep extending it to a ridiculous point every time somebody starts crying, which that's gonna happen every year. Somebody is gonna cry. Somebody's gonna cry about it. Texas fans are crying. Even though they knew they were never going to make it. They didn't want to make it. Everybody is going to cry. They're saying BYU got punished, but Alabama didn't. No, BYU was never in the conversation. In order to be in the conversation, BYU had to win against Texas Tech, but they didn't, so they were never in it. Bama was in it the whole time. These people are lobotomites. You can never rationalize with them, because all they want to hear is, oh my goodness, oh, I'm so sorry, you got snubbed because of the SEC bias. Oh no, is the SEC bias scaring you at night? Make sure to look under the bed for the SEC bias. SEC bias is under the bed. Actually, I think Scooter is. Is Scooter under there? Nope. Just your usual SEC bias. No, it's all over the place. Yeah, BYU, exactly. BYU is on the outside looking in. That's why they aren't in. They're not going to move BYU up for losing. Mississippi State got robbed. Yeah, so did Florida. I heard John Summerall's the truth already. Is there a legitimate reason for letting Lane Kiffin coach Ole Miss in the playoffs and he's concentrated on rebuilding with LSU? He's not. I don't know where you heard that, but he's not. He's gone. No. No, Pete Golding is going to be the coach for that. Lane Kiffin ain't doing nothing. He's already committed to LSU. He's gone. He's out of the conversation completely. There isn't a SEC bias in the CFB committee, but ignoring the SEC bias in sports media and therefore the AP poll is due. Yes. What about the coaches poll? Literally the same as the AP poll in most cases. In most cases, hell, they rank SEC teams lower in the coaches in the AP poll. The coaches poll ranks SEC teams higher. Yeah, I'm tired. I'll tell you what, guys. I'm tired of all these coaches around the nation and their SEC bias. All these Big 10 and Big 12 and Pac-12 coaches. I'm tired of all the SEC bias across all the coaches. Why do all the coaches in the country have a SEC bias? Crazy. If you actually think the coaches poll is SEC bias, I don't know if there's any way to help you. No, I think Tank Conference is fitting enough. Oh, Notre Dame, get out. Yeah, Notre Dame is getting out. They've been eliminated. Should I make a Notre Dame get out video? Notre Dame. Notre Dame. Now, I will admit, Notre Dame being eliminated out of the playoffs, it's not as funny as Alabama getting out last year. I think we can all agree on that. It's not near as funny as Alabama getting eliminated last year. But it's always going to be funny. It's always going to be a little funny to see that last team get eliminated. They're showing the rest of the playoff rankings, by the way. And they're roughly the same. They moved Virginia down 2 spots for losing to Duke. Wow, wait. Hold on a second. So Virginia was only moved down 2 spots? They're above Tulane. That's weird. But then again, they're not conference champions, so that it didn't matter anyway. But that is funny. And then they switched James Madison in North Texas, so both teams are still ranked. So everybody's still ranked. All the teams that were ranked last time are still ranked. And that's funny because if North Texas moved down just one more spot, Tennessee would have been ranked at number 25. But good, I say good. That bum-ass team doesn't deserve to be ranked. Tennessee got robbed. Yeah, of course. If you could put the Tennessee offense in the playoffs, that would make sense. If you could just put the Tennessee offense in the playoffs, here's what we should do, okay? We should combine Tennessee and Oklahoma. Put the Tennessee offense in, but leave Tim Banks and his bum-ass defense out. Put Oklahoma's defense in, but leave whatever that thing you call an offense out. See? Now everybody wins, except Notre Dame. Maybe next time join a conference. And yeah, as expected, the crybaby routine is already, it's already continuing. That's never going to stop. The crybaby routine is never going to stop. So I might as well just go ahead and make this video, man. I might as well just go ahead and tell them to get out because they're just going to keep crying about it. The constant complaining from teams on the bubble is why we should have gone to 6, but nope. Now we're going to expand to 24 because 3-loss teams cry. Yeah, there's no 3-loss team that should get into the playoffs unless if you're a conference champion. That's the only reason why you should ever be anywhere close to the playoff conversation. Other than that, no. No 3-loss team has any business making it to the big dance. Ever. That should never happen. So I'm glad that the playoff committee is standing on business there. Don't let the crybabies push you around. Oh, where? We can't actually win the big games. Where? But we deserve to have a big shot anyway. Where? Here's the thing. This is funny to me. The teams that can't win the big games are crying that they're not included in the big games. Hello? Can't win the big games? Not included in the big games? What are we doing here? Notre Dame should move to the ACC. They'd fit right the hell in with all those freaking crybabies over there. The only bad thing that came from Notre Dame being left out was that Miami was put in, which means that the ACC can have the ultimate tank. Because imagine how funny it would be if Notre Dame got in, and then the entire ACC in bulk gets left out. Now, that would have been funny, too. That would have been funnier than Notre Dame getting left out. Yeah, if we expand it to a point where we've got like 40 teams, and you're just ruining it at that point. Nobody wants to see a championship-level match where 8-4 Iowa is in the big dance, and then they get ass blasted by whoever else is in the playoffs. Nobody wants to see that. They might say they do because they don't understand, and they just want to be included because they suck too hard. But maybe next time just be better. This is exactly what we said last year, and the year before, and the year before, the year before, and the year before, and the year before. And it's always the same dadgum thing. We need the college football playoff committee has innate SEC bias. What do you want to do? Move back to the BCS? But you said that is SEC bias too. The BCS has SEC bias too, is what you said. That's why you moved to a playoff committee, and guess what? Now the playoff committee's got SEC bias. Great. I guess everybody's got SEC bias. The coaches, all the athletic directors. The playoff committee is made of entirely of athletic directors, former coaches, former players from all across the world. But of course, yes, they all have SEC bias. Great. The athletic director for Utah. The athletic director for freaking Utah, a bubble team, and SEC bias. Guess we got to kick him out too. I mean, you guys are just the people who actually believe that. I'm sorry. Your world, your world must be nothing but pain, legitimately. Because if you're making an excuse about this, I can't imagine what every loss is going to be for you. I can't imagine what every loss has been like for you. How many excuses did you make about that? Well, our 4-string punter was injured, so therefore the loss doesn't count. That's probably you. It makes just as much sense as all the SEC bias you yap about. Mark Blanton, appreciate the $5 super chat. Thank you. Says, why can't we have something like the NET or Ken Palm to decide or seed the teams? Basketball can weigh differences way better than football, apparently. Well, no, they can't. Two completely different worlds, first of all. And if that were the case, I can assure you that it wouldn't be any different than what you're looking at now. This is the reality of the situation. Four-team playoff is perfect. Maybe maximum 8 in the future. We need more, but 4 was just enough to have a chance at upsets, but still being competitive. Yeah, but well, the whole point of the 12-team playoff was to give the low man a shot. Give the little man a shot, because that's what people are crying about. That's the whole reason we're at a 12-team playoffs, because people are crying about SEC bias in the playoffs. When we need to expand because the SEC bias, we need to give the little man a chance. That's the entire reason why we expanded to 12. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair. You give the little guys a chance to compete. More often than not, they're going to get blown out or beat down, but at least you're giving them a chance. I think that past this point, if you couldn't make the 4-team playoff, tough luck. You're still a really good team. Good luck in the New Year's 6. If you couldn't make a 6-team playoff, tough luck. Well, you'll still do pretty good in this bowl or this bowl or this bowl. If you can't make a 12-team playoff, you're just not good. That's all it's ever come down to. So that's all there is, man. And until people realize that we're not going to get anywhere. What I don't understand from the playoff committee is why Notre Dame was ranked ahead of Miami for as long as they were, and then out of the sudden they suddenly switched it right before the big dance. That's the only reason why I can sympathize with Notre Dame fans, is because the playoff committee dangled that around for so long. Oh, look, you're ranked ahead of Miami all the way up until the actual playoff. That in itself was pretty stupid. So I sympathize with Notre Dame fans there, because I don't understand why Miami was ranked below them in the first place. The AI generated response for the rankings I got has Nebraska at 7-6, ranked 25. Yeah, that's pretty on point. Is Iowa in there? Iowa and Nebraska. Got to make sure there's room for them in the rankings. Man. How many times should I include that Tyler Buckner jump scare in the Notre Dame Get Out video? Uncle Lou was saying yesterday you and the Indiana quarterback look like brothers. Can you timestamp that and send it to me? Timestamp that if you can and send it to me. I want to let him know about it. Just post it on the screen for the whole segment, yeah. Because that missed extra point pretty much decided their entire season. That's crazy. That's crazy. Who do you think Tennessee plays in their bowl game? Well, I think we're playing in the Gator Bowl. But now that Miami is out of the conversation, since they're obviously in the playoffs, I don't know. If it's the Gator Bowl, I think it should be a Big Ten team. And if that's the case, then it's probably going to be USC. I think no matter what, if we play in that game, then we're playing against USC. Well, first of all, the Music City Bowl is not Iowa. Iowa is unfortunately going to the I think it's the ReliaQuest. And they're playing we don't know who they're playing yet, but we do know they're going to the ReliaQuest. That has been revealed. But I said it before. I don't think Tennessee is going to the Music City Bowl. That's why I'm making such a big fuss about it, because I know we're not going. We're not going to that bowl game. We're going to either the Gator Bowl or somewhere along that range. We aren't bad enough at that point yet. I think LSU's got the Music City clutched up. If worst case, I think it's Missouri. But we'll see. I guess we're bound to find out. People are saying that Jeremiah Love's gonna opt out. That does suck. That does suck for Jeremiah Love's season to end on an injury. Because I don't think he's gonna play in the bowl game. Birmingham Bowl's been significantly upgraded. They can make fun of us all they want for going to the Birmingham Bowl. I would not mind going to that because it has been significantly upgraded since. Now that's a bowl game within decent range. If I could, I might try to go to that. Unfortunately, it's not Michigan. We're not playing Michigan. I would have loved to play Michigan, but we're not good enough for that. They're going to the Citrus Bowl. So it's probably going to be either Vandy or Texas they play against. Texas should get a spot in the Alamo Bowl. Yes, throw them back in the Alamo. Remember the Alamo and make them play Washington again. That's not out of the realm of possibility though. Washington, if we're not playing USC, we're playing Washington, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. Vanderbilt might have dodged a bullet. They would have gotten their ass whooped by Oklahoma if they made it in. Potentially so. Vandy versus Michigan for the Citrus Bowl. It's either going to be them or Texas. Oh my God. FanDuel is such gaslighters. Holy crap. They just about the same thing saying true or false. It's time to end the college football playoff committee. They know what they're doing. Oh my goodness. You absolute gaslighting rage baiters. Ay, ay, ay. BYU versus Notre Dame would be a good matchup. Yeah, I'd like to see that. In the we were so close but not good enough bowl. I would like to see that. Am I hearing something? What the hell is that? Oh, you know what I think it might be? I was told, first of all, $5 super chat from Fravalette. It's appreciated. It says, oh my god. Notre Dame got absolutely hosed. SEC bias is real. Bama is the only conference championship game loser to not drop a spot in CFB history. Notre Dame should decline the bowl game. Oh my goodness, brother. Brother, first of all, BYU did not drop when they lost to Texas Tech. All right? They didn't lose. Or they did lose, but they didn't drop. So stop with that regurgitated narrative. Secondly, a playoff team that is in the playoffs should not be punished for losing in the conference championship game. A total of 0 conference championship games that Notre Dame has ever won in history. Because they're not in a conference. All right? Don't know what to tell you. All right? Ohio State dropped because they were number 1 and lost to number 2. BYU didn't drop. Virginia dropped barely because they lost to 7-5 Duke. I don't know what to tell you guys. I really don't know what to tell you. Alabama has a win on their resume that is leagues and bounds better than anything Notre Dame has on their schedule. What is Notre Dame's best win? Pitt? Unranked Pittsburgh? Woo! I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. And they had the same record at the end of the regular season. Bama lost in a conference championship, a game that Notre Dame has never been to in the history of history. But still, thank you for the 5. And then thank you for the additional 5. Bama fans wanted SMU out when the roles were reversed. We would have beat the crap out of Bama and OU. Don't tell me you're doing the hypotheticals already. Oh my goodness, dude. Come on. Know your worth, brother. Come on. Bama has the worst loss by far of anyone. Oh, here we go. The Florida State loss. Oh my goodness. Okay. Do you not see that you're doing the exact same thing Bama fans were doing last year? You're doing the exact same thing everybody was laughing at Alabama for last year. The exact same thing. Well, who cares about our bad losses? We have quality wins on our resume. We have all the quality wins in the world. What are you doing? What are you doing? Legitimately. Brother, you got to keep it real with yourself. You're not in because you lost the only 2 quality games on your schedule. You lost the only 2 quality games on your schedule, one of which was against a bubble team. The other team that was projected to be in the playoffs, Miami. If you had beaten one of those teams and finished out the season 11-1, you're in without question. But you're not. You didn't even have a chance to remedy that by playing in a conference championship because you're not in a daggum conference. If you want a shot at 10-2 next time, maybe join one. I don't know what to tell you. I appreciate you for the $5 super chat. Thank you very much for doing so. That is greatly appreciated. And no, I'm not, ever gonna personally insult you, because that would be stupid. But it needs to be known. There is no SEC bias. It's a figment of your imagination. If there is any SEC bias, it's from people who have no power in controlling this stuff. The College Football Playoff Committee, especially the dadgum athletic director of Utah, who runs the whole show, he's got no SEC bias. So I don't know where you're getting that from. But please get that out of your head. Because until you do, you're gonna live in this weird reality. You're gonna live in this realm of fictional fantasy land where SEC bias is the only reason that Notre Dame got left out. But here in reality, we know it's because you never bothered to join a conference and you have no quality wins on your resume. Ay. Sharpshooter James, appreciate the $5 super chat, says first round dates just came out. OU Bama is December 19th. Yes, I did read those off earlier. I did go through and read those off earlier. And then, yeah, no, it's gonna be some good games. I know that for sure. Do you think North Dakota State should make the move from FCS to FBS after winning numerous FCS championships? I do. I think they should. And everything going on around with the other FCS teams, the previous talk about James Madison, what we just saw with Kennesaw State, yeah, there's less and less excuses. They need to just go ahead and join. If they were to join now, maybe they wouldn't compete instantly, but they'd do pretty damn well, I'd argue. Who you got in the rematch between Oklahoma or Bama? Thank you, Quartz, for the $2 super chat. God, it's going to be a good game because I think Bama is going to bring their best, and after losing to Georgia, I feel like Kalen DeBoer is a guy that can rally the troops and then get them at their best and ready to play. So I would honestly take Bama in the matchup, in the rematch. They know what they're getting into, and I just. The way Oklahoma's offense has looked, I just cannot trust it anymore. I think Bama's going to go into that game with a lot more fight, and I think they're going to win it. be the first team that will win on the road in the playoffs. Okay, great. Now we're vacuuming. What are we doing here? I don't trust the Oklahoma offense to keep it close if Alabama can figure out how to score points. Well, they're going to. That's what I'm telling you, is that I think they're going to score. They won't score a lot, but neither will Oklahoma. That's my point. People are like, well, what about Georgia? Well, Georgia played a full 4 quarters. If that Georgia team plays like they did any other part of this playoff run, they're probably heading off to the national championship, which is very, very unfortunate because, dear God, Georgia winning the Natty again. Oh, my goodness, please, no. Keep me as far away from that scenario as possible. Also, we do have official confirmation of our first bowl game announcement. Texas and Michigan are going to be playing each other in the Citrus Bowl. So I thought they'd give Vandy the nod there, but it looks like Vandy is heading off to the Rely Quest against Iowa. That's not confirmed yet, but it's not exactly confirmed yet, but it is more than likely. But yes, we got. Hold on a second. All right, guys. Well, sorry to cut this show short, but it looks like I am out of time. So I mentioned earlier to you guys that we are in the process over here at my house of building some sort of cord system, and I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but what I do know is that it's going to be somewhere around this room. But it's something that is going to help my internet go a lot faster than it is right now, because my internet's been going beep boop for a few days, and this is going to help boost things. So that's what that was. That's what that was. It's about that time, and unfortunately, I'm out of time. I mentioned how I had to go through the playoff rankings first before anything else, and we're through that. But yes, the last announcement I'll say is Texas and Michigan are playing each other in the Citrus Bowl, and my guess is that Vandy and Iowa will now play in the Rely Quest, because I was already in the Rely Quest. They announced that yesterday. So and whoever wasn't going to make the Citrus is going to make the Rely Quest. So there you go. But yeah, again, I'll keep you guys posted. I'm gonna work on my Notre Dame video, Notre Dame Get Out. I've got some plenty of other videos I'm gonna work on throughout the week. Cade off that's what her name says. Thank you very much for the super chat, greatly appreciated. But yeah, no, I'll keep you guys posted. Again, worst case scenario happens and Tennessee winds up going to Armageddon, I will let you guys know what I have planned for that. But again, that's worst case scenario. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to the Gator Bowl at 8-4. I don't know who will play. Might be Notre Dame, since it was supposed to be Miami. We'll see. But what I do know is that it's going to be entertaining nonetheless. But yeah, guys, appreciate y'all for being here today. I'll see you guys tomorrow with the FBS report with Red. I'm sure he'll have plenty of choice words to say about his loss to Indiana in the bowl game. And that's all I got for you guys. So, again, I'm going to get hard to work for you guys. Love all of y'all. And best of luck to you if you're in the playoffs. Talk to y'all later, tomorrow. And, of course, power to Tardaria. Don't forget that. Power to Tardaria. See y'all soon. Hey, you know what? I just came to a stunning realization. Real quick. I came to a stunning realization. Notre Dame's most quality win is actually USC. Their most quality win is actually USC. Guess what? They're still unranked. Get out, you absolute clowns.